सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. Do you want me to say this in English?
Don't mind.
Yes, please.
Yes. May God protect us. May He nourish us together. May we work together with great energy. May our studies be enlightened. May there be no hate amongst us. Oh, peace, peace, peace. I would now like to welcome to the IFUA President, Ranjana Banerjee, the President of IFUA and UWA Asia had served IFUA in a number of capacities. She has been an active member of UWAC, that's UWA Calcutta, and is serving on the board of GWI as the fellowship member. Professionally, she is Associate Professor of Calcutta University and Loreto College, and is serving both in academic and para-academic pursuits. She is a member of several other NGOs in her pursuit of social service. So I now welcome Ranjana Banerjee.
Ranjana, you have to unmute. Ranjana, you are muted.
Good evening, friends, and our resource person of this evening, Mrs. Borwankar. Once again, I welcome all of you to this evening's program. IFUA's mission is to bring forth to the members knowledgeable, informative discussions to illuminate us in various fields. Empowerment comes from learning experiences, and one such is today's event. We are very fortunate to have with us Mrs. Kiran Chanda Bodwarkar, a name in the world of police administration, who has also dealt with the crime branch. She will lead us in the discussion on women in police administration, an area which IFUA will come across for the first time and be enriched from her deliberations. Over to you, Vinita.
Okay. I will now introduce our key speaker, Dr. Kiran Chanda Bodwarkar. She is the Director General of Police, retired, belongs to the 1981 batch of the Indian Police Service, Maharashtra Cadre. She has held several positions, including Director General, Bureau of Police Research and Development, and Director General, National Crime Records. As Commissioner of Police, Pune, and Chief of Crime Branch, Mumbai, Dr. Borwankar Operation.
Please mute yourselves. Please mute yourselves.
As Chief of Maharashtra Prison Departments, she has carried out highly sensitive operations with national and international ramifications. She faced serious law and order challenges as Deputy Commissioner of Police, Mumbai, which led to a magisterial inquiry and a judicial commission following 2 violent caste and communal riots in Mumbai. As District Police Chief in Maharashtra, Aurangabad and Satara districts, Dr. Borwankar broke the glass ceiling of male police leadership. She has also worked in economic offences and anti-corruption wings of CBI at Delhi and Mumbai, investigating serious frauds. She received her doctorate in organizational management from Pune University and is a Robert H. Humphrey Fellow from University of Minnesota, USA. A law graduate, she is currently consulting in Delhi and has been appointed independent external monitor for Indian Oil Corporation Limited, Gas Authority of India, GAIL, and Air India. She has been the recipient of President of India Police Medal for Distinguished Services in 2006. the Police Medal for Meritorious Services 1997 and Distinguished Leader Award 2008 from University of Minnesota. Dr. Borwankar specializes in investigation of financial crime, crime against women and children, law and governance, human rights and gender. She is the author of 2 books, Leaves of Life and Inspector Chaugule. She conducted an extensive research on gender friendliness of Maharashtra police and writes extensively for national and international journals. So I now welcome Dr. Meeran Chadda Borwankar to take the floor.
Thank you, Vinita.
Thank you, Vinita. Before I proceed, I want to ask, has Sudha Padhe joined?
Yes, she has joined.
Mrs. Borwankar, sorry to interrupt you, but I would like Dr. Sudha Padhe, former president of IFUA, if she could say a few words about you, which I was not aware of. Sudhaji, where are you, please?
Can you see me now? I'm there.
Okay.
You can't see me?
Yes.
Yeah, you can see me now. No? Yeah. Well, I would like to thank you, Ranjana, for giving me a few minutes. I will just go for a minute or so into the history of WGU IFUA. Women Graduates Union is a constituent or affiliate of Indian Federation of University Women's Association. In fact, it is a founder member of the Indian Federation of University Women's Association along with UWA Calcutta. So that was in the year 1920. And Women Graduates Union was formed in the year 1915. So we have finished our centenary celebrations as well as Calcutta must have. Now, Women Graduates Union has a history of felicitating Women Graduates Union members, for their achievements. But first time in 2001, the first year of the century, we decided to felicitate women achievers in different fields. We selected at that time 5 different fields of science, banking, education, architecture, and social work. Then we had an oration. At that time, we had invited Dr. Anil Kakotkar, chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission, and who delivered his address on science and sustainability. Now, we repeated this felicitation of women achievers in the year 2006. There, I'm happy to say that Mrs. Bira Borwankar, we had felicitated and women achievers in public sector. So she was an IPS officer at that time, Joint Commissioner of Police Crime in Maharashtra, so stationed in Bombay. So we are very happy that to tell you all this, that all the members from WGU who remember this, having felicitated her at the University Convocation Hall of the University of Bombay. See, at that time, our chief guest, no, this was in the hall of the University of Bombay in Churchgate, not the conference hall, convocation hall. And our chief guest was Dr. Karan Singh, who delivered a lecture on 4 pillars of learning. So, thank you, Ranjana.
Thank you, Sudha.
Thank you.
Over to you, Mrs. Meeran Borwankar.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Sudhakai. Yes, those were very meaningful days for me in Mumbai as crime branch chief. Thanks once again. And now I come to the topic which has been given to me. It is police leadership, their role in protecting women's rights. So the organization Indian Federation of University Women's Association is naturally very concerned about women's rights. And Ranjana Banerjee ma'am has been pursuing me for last about 2 months, I must say. So I thought I would make my talk meaningful to all the women who are here from the different parts of country. And also, since all of you are educated, I also felt that we can, in police organization, we can seek your guidance and your intervention in various, at various levels, which I will talk of during my talk. Now, the Bureau of Police Research and Development, where I was the DG, we collect the data about police as an organization, and the latest data shows that women constitute about 10% of police force in the country, while in Canada, they constitute about 20%, in UK 27%, and in Sweden about 29%. So the first issue I want to flag is that women, despite our having taken very long strides in progress in joining governance, are very limited in number. And the ladies today must understand, and I'm sure they already do, that law and order is a state subject. So if I am saying that women are only 10% of the police force in the country, we can't blame the government of India. It's each state which has to ultimately increase the number of women in police. Now, police women are at the level of constables, head constables, sub-inspector, inspectors, DYSP, and as you know, IPS officers. Now, after flagging the issue that we constitute only 10% of women force, I want all of us to understand that leadership is not the prerogative of only women IPS officers. We must look at our lady constable as a leader, even a male constable as a leader. I feel by ignoring them and by not enveloping them in the leadership arena, we are making them as errand boys and errand girls. Go and fetch X witness. Go and give this letter to the doctor. This sample has to be taken to the forensic science expert. But we are denying them leadership. So the first point I'm flagging is that increasing the number of women in police is the duty of states, not government of India, because law and order is a state subject. Second, leadership is not the prerogative of women IPS officers or male IPS officers only. And you at your levels must encourage women leadership at the constable, sub-inspector, Havaldar level also. Now, the second point, when it comes to the rights of women, as far as crime is concerned, we have about 4 lakh crime against women. Women may be victims of land disputes, of dispute amongst neighbors, but crimes which are focused against women, their number is about 4 lakhs in the total crime of about 51 lakh in the country. This comes to about 62 crime against women per lakh of women. Now, intuitively, because there is so much coverage to rape and kidnapping, we have somehow ignored that domestic violence still continues to be the topmost crime against women. So domestic violence constitute about 31% of crime against women, outraging the modesty about 22%, kidnapping, abduction about 17%. About rape, NCRB had been flagging it for last 10 years. Most of the rape cases are by known persons, and a very high number, the accused belongs to the family. So if you find only 8% of crime, of rape in crime against women, I would like to flag the issue that the number may be very high, and number is quite high, but because the accused are from within the family, these cases go unreported. Now coming to, since the topic is the role of women police in protecting women's right as women leaders, women in police leadership, their role in protecting women's rights, I thought I'll take you in a journey of where do we come in contact with women in police. First would be, if you go to a police station, these days, many states have gone in for help desk being manned by women, or reception desk being held by women. I want to, in this journey of a woman victim or women interacting with women in police, I will give you concrete examples. About a few months back, I went to a police station in Vasant Vihar area of New Delhi, and I wanted to report a crime. I found that the help desk did have a woman, but I did not find her having any say. There were also 3-4 men. They were dominating her, and they had the conversation and interaction in their hands. So what I'm saying is that we in leadership places have brought women on help desk, in reception, so that women victims or women reporting crime have an easy way. But the dominance of women by men, I could see in that Vasant Vihar police station. Another example I would like to cite, when I was Commissioner of Police Pune, 2 young girls took my appointment and they saw me. They told me that 2 days back, they had been to Coffee Cafe Day near Pune Airport, where they were being teased, harassed by few boys sitting on a nearby table. These girls, both college students, they dialed 100 and they reported this incident to the control room officer or the person attending the call. And the person attending the call asked them, what did they mean by CCD? So these girls said CCD means Coffee Cafe Day. So he asked them in Marathi, so what are you doing, having coffee? The girl said, yes. Look at your watch, what is the time? It was 9 p.m. So instead of helping them, the guy scolded them, what are you doing at 9 o'clock having coffee? Why don't you go back home? Now these girls gave this complaint to me, and fortunately, and which all the members must know, all the police control rooms today are audio, they have audio tapes. So the conversation is continuously being taped. So I asked the control room officer to get me the conversation of that day, of that particular time, since the girls had told me exactly the date and time. When this conversation was brought, it was proved completely correct that the guy attending the call was rude. He was asking them to go back home, not go out. 9 o'clock for him was very late. And in his view, girls had no business to be in a coffee shop at that time. So despite our effort to bring justice to women, to be sensitized to their needs, we have a long way to go. This is what I want to say by these 2 examples. Now, after the help desk or police control room, next is if you want to register an FIR, first information report of a crime. Here I would like to give example of a scandal which I supervised investigation of. It's Jalgaon sex scandal. It was during 1990s, and we came to know that though about 100 girls from Jalgaon town district had been exploited by local politicians, young politicians who were also moneyed. They would not enter the police station because they would have to talk of the issue with men in the police stations. When government of Maharashtra sent me and two other lady officers, we came to the conclusion that many girls had indeed been exploited. And when government of Maharashtra said that I should camp in Jalgaon and get these cases registered and investigated, finding a lady officer, a huge number of girls poured in. So the point I'm highlighting here is that having more women in police makes the work of women victims easier in getting their cases registered, in talking to the lady officers, and in their comfort level. So for registration of cases, we do need women, and we do need women in leadership positions in police stations. My experience in Jalgaon sex scandal was that not having women in police stations made many girls quite silent about their exploitation. And they would have come out against, please mute yourselves, known to them. After you have registered the case, you have to get it investigated. Investigation done. Excuse me, am I audible?
Yes.
It did disappear for a while, for a short while, but it's okay, ma'am. It's okay, ma'am. Please continue.
There is somebody else.
Yes, please mute yourself. Somebody's TV is on. Please
Just give me 1 minute.
Rest
I'll
of you,
open the
please
door.
mute yourself. Somebody's TV or somebody's radio is on. Please mute yourselves.
Yeah, I've muted, ma'am. Continue. I've muted.
You can mute from your end also.
This is
Yeah, I have muted. I've muted. Continue,
so
ma'am.
Mrs. Gandhi, H. Gandhi.
I muted her, ma'am.
Okay.
Continue. I've muted.
So we discussed about. Okay, thank you. So once you have women with whom you interact for registering your case and for investigation, the journey for a woman victim of crime is much easier. And now next is investigation. Here I would like to talk of a case known as Parbhani sex scandal, where two girls, young girls, minor girls, one had a stepmother who was ill-treating her, and the second had a family dispute. Both of them left their house in Parbhani and took a train to Aurangabad. In Aurangabad, these two young girls were exploited right and left, including by some police officers, some railway officials. So the whole investigation, I felt, was led by women officers. I would say gave justice to girls and women and these victims. The case got convicted not only by the Session Court, High Court, even by the Supreme Court. So investigation of a crime against women is also deeper, easier for women and easier for victim. Now, next step after FIR and investigation is court trial. Now, trial of case, I would like to give example where I was personally involved. There was a case, we have some ladies from Maharashtra also, where an 8-year-old girl child was raped in a Maruti car. Now the investigation got over and we sent the case for trial to the court. This is an old case. Now the trial clashed with my elder son's educational responsibilities which I had. But I felt, and most women officers feel, that when it comes to investigation of crime against women or trial, that takes precedence before even their family obligations. So I would say that even in trial, not only the presence of women officers, but also of women prosecutors. In the Jalgaon sex scandal, though the special prosecutor was a very senior counsel called Mr. Jadhav Rao, his assistant, Seema Fadnis, she was so keenly involved in the trial that we could get conviction from a judge, again a lady judge named Mridula Bhatkar. Women officers in the police station, women judges definitely lead to more conviction, more understanding of crime against women. And therefore, not only in police do we need more women, even in prosecution and judiciary, we need more women. In fact, the Chief Justice of India recently lamented that we have very few women in the Supreme Court, and we have not had a woman CJI, Chief Justice. So not only at the highest level for doing justice to the cause of women and to crime against women, at each level, not only from the help desk, reception, control room, investigation, trial, everywhere presence of women and their increasing numbers will help us. Now, I conducted, it was said that that I was also in CBI. I would like to share an instance where an informant rang up and my PA was on leave that day. He wanted to talk to the boss in CBI, as he said, and I kept telling him, I am the boss, you share the information with me. He, after refusing to accept that I am the in charge of CBI Mumbai at that time, economic offences wing, he banged the phone down saying, "Tumi khota bolta hai." So in his mind, a woman still cannot occupy the position of the chief of CBI Mumbai, and he refused to share that information with me. But as against that, I would also like to cite an example where we worked against human trafficking. When I was in Mumbai, both as DCP and as Joint Commissioner, and as Commissioner of Police Pune, we sealed many brothels with the help of a team which had both men and women, but who felt that we would have a very strong crusade against human trafficking, especially of minors. Within our resources, we tried our level best as teams to stop this forced prostitution, this human trafficking. I won't say we were highly successful, but we tried our best, and having a mixed team here helped us for collection of information, conducting raids, rescuing minors, and sealing the brothels. In the study about gender friendliness of police for its own women employees, we undertook this in 2015, where I was the chief researcher, because we felt that Maharashtra has a huge number of women now, which had started reservation for them in 1993-4. So let's see how happy are they, because only a happy leader will make a happy police organization and would also be sensitive, sensitized, and happy to talk to citizens, cater to their needs, and be a positive symbol of uniform. So first sample for trial we took was for pilot study of 200 women constables to sub-inspectors. again, I'm flagging the issue that a constable is also a leader. So of a sample of 200, we received 174 responses. The study had 4 factors to study. This is how we defined this gender friendliness. It was the work environment, which meant infrastructure, gender equality, gender respect, and cooperation. And we found in the pilot study about 50% of women of the rank of constable to sub-inspectors were not happy with the gender friendliness of Maharashtra Police for its own employees. Then we conducted a full-scale study where out of 500, 384 sample replied. And this study was sponsored by Center for Police Research, Pune, and conducted with the help of Department of Psychology, Pune University. Now, this sample of 500 where 384 women replied, women constables and sub-inspector, only 27 were satisfied with the working conditions, with the gender equality, gender respect, and cooperation. 48% were dissatisfied or highly dissatisfied. Now, again, if you have women in police, but they are themselves unhappy because we do not have basic facilities like toilets, like restrooms, how would you expect them to attend to you in a polite, sensitized manner? So what emerged the most was that if we want more women in police, if we want women in leadership levels in police, first is provide them basic infrastructure. Now, I feel that this group is in a place where you can write about it, that women police. The other day I was talking to a lady officer in Lucknow. She said, Madam, Prime Minister's visit, we had 100 women for bandobast duties and not a single toilet for them. And you hold on for how many hours?
My God.
So we can, as a group, we can take up this cause. And women in this study said, they themselves identified that they need counseling, they need experience sharing workshops. Here again, I feel this group of university graduates, women, you can help in facilitating experience sharing workshops. You can have counseling sessions for them. And I personally feel women in police needs training in communication, active listening, risk-taking, and team building with, especially with male workers. Here also I feel you can help. Women in the study also felt that at central government, state government level, there are lots of schemes for them, but they do not reach them. They want police stations to be rated on gender friendliness. Here again, this group can be a very strong pressure group that police stations, police workings, police offices must be rated annually on their gender friendliness. And my last point is that sexual harassment at workplace also needs to be emphasized. These committees should be formed not only in other government departments, corporate sector, but also in police department. This issue emerged very strongly in this study, which I talked of, sponsored by Center for Police Research. But the head of the psychology department, Bhaskar Shejwal sir, he said, if now you start talking about this particular aspect of sexual harassment at workplace, your main study will remain unattended to. So flag this issue, but concentrate on gender friendliness of Maharashtra Police, where I told you that 48% of women felt that they are not satisfied with the working condition, with the gender equality, gender respect, or cooperation. So ladies, these are some of the issues which I want to highlight because I want to have a very interactive session. First was, I am repeating that Policing is a state subject. If we want more women, if we want 33% of reservation, we must build a pressure at the state level, whichever state we are. Domestic violence continues to be a very major issue in crime against women. We need more women in police station for interacting with women victims, for the investigation of crime, court trial, prosecution, and for building some kind of effort, strong effort against human trafficking. We need more women in the force, and women in police themselves need our attention because the department itself is not friendly to them, and that is affecting their performance. I would like to end on a very positive note. As SP Satara, one, we introduced women in traffic, and we realized a woman in uniform standing on the road sends a very positive message. It is a message of empowerment. It's a message of we matter, we perform, we have authority, we have power. And the second, in the same district, one day at night round, late at night, when I went to a police station called Pusegaon police station, I found a constable with a small baby. And I asked him, what are you doing with the small child at night in the police station? He said, the lady who is on wireless duty, her husband has gone out of town. She has come for duty with the child. She is noting out that wireless message, and I am attending to her child. So, which means that there is this basic cooperation between men and women in police. By all of us, especially this group, taking interest in the training of women, in teaching them how to be assertive, not to be aggressive, how to be silent listeners, attentive listeners, and how to build bridges with men and work together. We can, besides having more number of women in police, we would have women who are good police leaders and perform their duties to the satisfaction of the society. So I end here, and I again thank Ranjana Banerjee ma'am. She really pursued me for about 2 months, and I'm so happy to be with you because I feel all of you, each of you can write about women in police and can also, wherever you are, take over the task of training and facilitating experience sharing sessions which women have highlighted as their needs, besides championing the cause for infrastructure, basic infrastructure like toilet and restroom for women in uniform. Thank you once again. Jai Hind.
Madam, I think I've made a very good choice of a resource person. Thank you for this very impressive talk. I have a question to ask you. You raised a point saying that this group can write, but to whom do we write? How do we go about making ourselves visible by writing about the issues you have spoken of?
Ma'am, when I meant writing, I meant for the local newspapers, for the national dailies. You can all write. We have found that many of us are writing, but basically in English newspaper, English media. If you can also take it up in vernacular media and write for local dailies, local newspapers, I feel there'll be a huge pressure group, because local state level leadership will be aware of the fact that 100 women in Lucknow performing police Prime Minister Bandobast did not have toilets. So if they are taken locally in vernacular media, this will help.
Vinita, take up the questions now.
Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to do that. There aren't many questions, but there are a lot of comments. Shall I read out the comments?
The
Yes.
questions, the comments are questions, Vinita. Just convert them to questions.
Okay. One comment is very true, ma'am. People tend to blame the girl who is victimized. And then
That's about, I would like to say that blame the girl is more by male officers. I have seen this. Women are able to understand, like that control room officer shouting at the girls for going out for coffee at 9 p.m. I feel if the lady officer had been there, I don't think she would have felt 9 o'clock is that late and why are women out for coffee? So more women will not lead to these kinds of rude comments and blame game. That's what I feel.
Then Rajalakshmi had said, recently there have been many complaints by women police officers. I think it's in reference to what you were talking about, there being less facilities for women in the police.
So Rajalakshmi ma'am can herself ask me what does she mean by this?
Yeah. Professor Rajalakshmi. Then from Shyamala, please share that you started giving ornaments back to owners. You were the first. We thank you for your strong decision, which helped women owners of those ornaments.
So here I would like to share an experience. A friend of mine, she had a house breaking and her jewelry was stolen, which fortunately police could detect the case. Point number one is we are totally responsible for the security of our ornaments, our household goods, because detection internationally and even in India of such cases is not more than 30%. So if your house, there is a house robbery, house breaking, your goods have been stolen, only 30% chances that it will be detected. Fortunately for her, her ornaments were detected. She became so excited. She says, Meera, just, those, she had some solitaires, they were given to me by my mother-in-law, and this particular item was given to me by my very close friend. Please return them. I had to tell her, look, after we recover the property from the criminals, that property becomes the property of the court. You have to apply to the court. Only court can give you this property back. And that process took some time. But she felt so gratified after she got hold of a property that as Pune Police Commissioner, I decided we used to have lot of chain snatchings. And in chain snatchings, what happens is single detection is very rare. We would detect a gang, and then the gang would admit, because it's a very professional kind of crime where they have to have speed in their favor, and it's a skill to break the chain and to just disappear, and mostly they would do it on motorcycles in Pune. So once we arrest a gang, we recover say 20 chains, and they would say, this chain belongs to Hadapsar area. We did it sometime in December. This is from Shivaji Nagar. We took this chain forcefully, robbed this chain sometimes in January. So what we would do is we would find out those complainants and we would ourselves advise them that now write this letter to the court so that court permits us to hand over the jewelry to you. So the personal experience of my friend feeling at the top of the world of getting her jewelry back made me realize that this task, instead of asking a complainant or a victim to approach the court, we can guide them, and you can take it up wherever you are, in whichever district you are. Request your police district police chief that once property is recovered, guide us how to get it back. So this I'm happy that I must share this compliment with my team of that time, that women were so happy, citizens were so happy, because we would guide them how to draft a letter to the court. We will give no objection to returning that property, but mind you, all of you must understand, when the stolen property is returned, it's returned to you on a bond, so that if in the court the accused is able to prove that the property belonged to him, you will have to return. But accused are never able to prove, maybe some %, and you get your property back, not from police, but from the court, by following a procedure where police gives an NOC and you apply to the court. Thank you.
Then again, Professor Rajalakshmi has asked, what can we do with unfriendly department?
There are two things we have to keep in mind. All over India, except for maybe a few states in Northeast, a police person is working after working for 8 to 9 hours. I would become irritable by nature. So
Yeah.
if we want our police to be polite and welcoming, we must ensure and again write that make it 8 hours shift for police. To expect that for 14 hours a day, and also all the festivals, we are on double duty. Festivals, because the number of people visiting markets increase, visiting temples, religious places increase. So the 14 hours become 17, 18 hours. We must insist 8 hours duty for police persons all over the country. One, I think their behavior will improve. And I also feel this 33% reservation for women across the police department, that would also make us have a sensitive gender in the totally male-dominated macho department.
Okay. The next question is, FGM, this is from Shamala, FGM cases in Muslim community, we have to stop this for the betterment of women.
What is FGM?
Female genital
Mutilation.
Yeah, okay. But don't depend on
That
police
is
for
nothing
this.
to do with-
That's a social issue. Report the case and expect them to take action. But otherwise, I would say in this, we are all together as society. See, what is happening is, from your cat getting stuck in a chimney, to your having lost a dog, to my not getting water today, my having a slight dispute with my neighbor, to a murder, to a rape with murder. So the bandwidth of police has increased so much that they are not able to attend to their core issues. Social issues let society handle, and police will come into picture when you approach the police.
Then Sarah John has commented, the pink patrol with the pink and white cars, which are mainly women police, they are doing an excellent job in Cochin for checking the corona protocol violators.
So thank you. But again, I would say basically corona has also brought us on the roads.
Yeah.
More women, more men in uniform are on roads. We are trying our best, but here also sometimes people are reporting rude behavior, and of course media is showing many times unjustified use of lathis.
Yeah. Malti Kalamadi.
So in police,
yeah, go on.
I would say police department, there has been a serious thinking on outsourcing what is not our core work. But instead of being able to outsource that, I feel that police officers are getting more burdened by issues which I would not strictly call police issues.
Mrs. Mahajan has said that this is a very inspiring talk and that you have highlighted a new facet of police leadership, another point of having more women in police force.
Definitely, I think there is no two opinion. After all, we are 50% of the population and we have only 10% representation in the uniform.
Yeah, then Malati Kalama, how can we reach out to the police to begin a listening post?
I feel that from practical point of view, all of us in this group, we can first approach our local police station and offer our services. Like Corona times are, at this particular time, neither you are expected to go out, nor would the overburdened police be in a mood to have training sessions. But say a group of 2-3 women going, and police officers love to have training from non-police people. I would like to share an example. When I was DCP, we started having students of Tata Institute of Social Sciences in Dadar, Matunga and Dharavi police stations. And this continues even today. And I was told by the faculty of TIS and Nirmala Niketan College of Social Sciences that police, more than the citizens, policemen would wait for the college faculty coming. They just wanted to talk, to understand, to have some new ideas. They are so, their whole day is so full of crime, violence, the underbelly of the society. If you as a group of 2-3 go and say, I'm ready to have a workshop on, like I said, communication skills, on stress management, on nutrition. Nutrition is where our constabulary lacks it so much. Everyone laughs at us, including Lakshman's cartoon.
Ma'am, I think your bandwidth has become weak. You're not audible.
Vada pav kha leta hai. So we need understanding of nutrition. So please go and talk to your local police station that we have this expertise we want to share. I am telling you, they will fall in love with you.
That's a wonderful idea. Because I always look at the traffic policeman on the road with a big pot belly and say, how can you be a policeman and have a pot belly like this? How can you stand for hours on the road with that kind of weight on your body? So this kind of workshop that you're recommending would be excellent for them. Thank you, ma'am.
And Miranji, we have recently come up with a study. We have a project running on coping strategies. And we were looking at creating listening posts to help women with coping strategies during this pandemic. So I think this suggestion of yours will be a good extension for our program as a project for Indian Federation of University Women's Association. So thank you for giving us this beautiful session. We will take it up as a project for Indian Federation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My son was your student, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. And I would like to come and meet you so that we can create a sort of connect with the Pune police. We can start it off.
Sure.
And then you can direct us, because we have 13 Indian Federation of US. So if you can, I'll come meet you and then we can connect to the different, like Calcutta, we have Cochin, we have, so we can start off this and virtually we can start this program with a small group of people.
Absolutely.
That will really be, yeah. Thank you.
And that reminds me, I wanted to share with the group that all states have CID offices. CID offices capture police force from the whole state. So if you want to approach a bigger chunk of police persons, then besides approaching the local police station, you can approach the CID office. And they are also very fond of organizing these workshops. They have a little more time at their hand than the local police station. But local police stations love organizing medical camps, stress and nutrition programs. And like women themselves, women in police have said they would love to have experience sharing workshops where you can become facilitators.
I like that
Thank you.
experience sharing which you mentioned.
Yes.
That will be beautiful because in
They have
schools-
asked for
Yeah, because in schools we have started something called sharing practices in schools. So I think, and I must thank you because I have another program, but I must thank you for your beautiful session.
Very
So thank you.
nice.
Thank you.
Ma'am, on behalf of Women Graduate Union Mumbai also, I would like to give greetings to you, ma'am, for this wonderful program.
Thank you.
Vinita, take that question on Jessica Lal.
There's one more question from Gomati Venkateshwar.
Audio join नहीं किया.
The police force is a good opportunity for women's employment. How much promotional material is circulated
There's a question on Jessica Lal.
to get, to encourage women for the posts of constable and havaldars?
So promotional, what is meant by promotional?
I guess advertising on board.
Making it more known fact that there is such an especially say to the underprivileged community of girls who have finished high school and could join in the ranks of constable after training. How much can they know? Those girls who live in bastis, they are going to school and finishing high school. They want to know, they can't go to college because they don't have the money to pay for their fees at college. So this, if high school, higher secondary school is an eligibility requirement for joining the police force at the lowest base. So why don't they get to know more about this? Is there not people who talk about this at the police station to send people across to these kind of bastis and things like that? This is all part of the friendliness that the police force should make with the community, not being unapproachable, but being approachable. The police should be the community's friendly man.
So I agree that awareness is low in bastis, and the fact that most states you can enter at the level of constable if you are 12th pass. Some states still have 10th pass, but this information is not available to small towns, villages, bastis, slums in the urban towns. But see the journey. When I was SP in Satara, I had a recruitment for women in police because they did not match the height and weight standards. They did not have the physical capability of running. Then as a commissioner of police Pune, I was visiting police lines where they stay, and I found two very thin looking girls in police. I was so happy to see them. So one said she joined police because her father felt it's a good profession now. So in the past, it has not been considered a good profession. Yes. And she said the other thin girl is her mama's daughter, her uncle's daughter. And she said another uncle's daughter has also joined. So one is awareness. Second is families accepting police as a good career has now finally come to a stage where their They are encouraging the girls to join, but I totally agree. And here again, the group can write in vernaculars that what are the minimum qualifications at the constable level. My experience is that most of the women who join at the constabulary level are the ones who are looking for bread only, butter, and also let it be. But sub-inspector and above level are looking for leadership roles.
Yes.
So awareness of women at the sub-inspector and above level is more. At constabulary level, we can all chip in and we can write and talk about it.
Mumbai slums are having awareness because recently my Dhobi's daughter did the exam and happy and enthusiastic. They only have some technical problems sometimes that they require that citizenship or something like this Aadhaar card. They are basically from village, and also we try to help them. As a lawyer, I try to help them. But there is awareness in our Mumbai slum Andheri area.
You know, actually, Dr. Bodwarkar, you see the fact that women have to orient themselves that the police force is also can be their profession. You know, we have very role stereotyping, and that often doesn't permit women to get into the police force.
Absolutely.
They would rather take up other professions which are coming down generations.
And even if they're joining, 48% of Maharashtra women police are saying we are not happy with our department because you are not giving us basic facilities, you are not giving us respect, equality, and cooperation for men. So having joined, again, we have to work to provide them positive atmosphere where they give their best.
Ma'am, that is there even for advocates. We have faced the problem for toilets in the courts. Till we face and we fight it out. I think that is there even for educated people and all also. Facilities, sometimes we ladies don't have separate toilet. Even in government law college and proper toilet recently we have got.
Vinita, take the last two questions.
Yeah. How many?
Can I say something, Vinita? Just because I had written.
Yes, Meera, come in.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. One thing I would like to congratulate Miranji, and you may remember we had invited. I am from UWA Pune. You are Pune. You had come. We had invited you once to give a lecture, and that time also it was very interesting. I just wanted to mention that we are already into a project with Egypt. It's a partnership India-Egypt. It is on harassment of women at workplace. Since we run a working women's hostel, it's very relevant, and it's also we have taken it on the national level, as some other UAs also in our country have such hostels. And one session we had organized for them for the last 3 years. We are working on this. Was buddy cops session, where these female policemen came and they demonstrated how women can protect themselves and all. It was very nice. And this project with Egypt is still going on. And we would like to take your help and whichever, your guidance also and your inputs in this. So I wanted to say that we were planning to have, we were in the process of preparing a skit asking the law college students on this subject, but because of the pandemic since last year, it's all, we have stopped doing it. So if we can prepare a skit for that also, we would like to get inputs from after the conditions improve. So
sure.
Yeah. So this would be very nice.
Yes.
And
we can share my email address.
Sure.
Ma'am, you can
yes,
share.
I have it. Sure. And Vinita, take that question on Jessica Lal.
Okay, then next question, it's from Maithili. Given the long judicial process, women lose the resolve to fight the case as they like to move on. How fast are fast-track courts? What do you think of police officers who build a weak prosecution case deliberately, as in the case of Jessica Lal?
So I'm not aware of that Jessica Lal case was deliberately made weak. I can't comment on that. I recently read a judgment. I had asked Commissioner of Police Faridabad to send me a judgment. Ladies from Delhi would know. There was a young girl called Nikita Tomar. She was murdered in front of a college after she came out writing an exam.
Yes.
So now the special court helped in the sense it's a case of November, December 2020, and both the accused have been convicted. So the special courts for women definitely help in fast trial. And if the trial is fast, the victim and the witnesses do not lose interest and the chances of conviction are very high. But you are absolutely right. If the trial lingers on and on, not only do the witnesses lose interest, even the complainant gets compromised. So we must all seek more courts for women, speedy trial, that is definite. I will not be able to comment on Jessica Lal's case being deliberately made weak, but this particular case of Faridabad police, it was so well investigated. In fact, when I was going through the court judgment, now this girl, victim girl, had come out after writing her exam, and one of the witnesses was another girl, witness to the murder. Police had even attached the witness girl's seat number of the examination, that this girl also was appearing for an exam in the same college, and when she came out, she saw the murder. Now, I was thinking, isn't police over enthusiastic? They're going and getting her seat number also. But I realized that the judge had appreciated the fact that by bringing the seat number of this witness, prosecution and police are able to prove that this witness was present outside the college after having written her exam when she saw another colleague of hers being shot. So sometimes I find police is very meticulous. This Nikita Tomar's case is like that. If you have an overworked police, they may not do full justice. But to say that they deliberately make
Yes.
I'm not totally overruling.
No.
It is possible.
Ma'am, we know that in Jessica Lal's case and in Priyadarshini Mattu's case, openly the judge said, I know that this man is the murderer, but I'm not able to sentence him because the case has been prosecuted so badly. Whenever there is pressure on the police, if it is political pressure, they do build a very, very weak prosecution case. Which is also one of the reasons.
No, I'll read both the cases. Yeah. But let me tell you, court passing stricture against the investigating officers, a departmental inquiry started against them. So in fact, after a court order, we go through, is there any stricture? There was a lady lawyer there just now. Ma'am, you are there. If there is any remark against the investigating officers, they have to face music.
Okay, there's Shyamla wants to know that in her area, there are a lot of vehicles are dumped for many, many years. And we as traffic support group need to get rid of these vehicles. It's become a dumping yard. And she wants guidance on how to do this.
This is the issue all over the country. All police stations are full of vehicles which are seized because of accidents or because of transporting drugs or transporting illicit liquor. But maximum are involved in accidents. So what happens is they are in bad shape. Now the complainant, the person owner of the car feels getting it out by engaging a professional agency to lift it is more expensive. So they lose interest. We have to approach insurance agencies for this work. I have realized this issue that police on its own can bring the vehicle, but they cannot dispose it off. Ultimately, all vehicles are insured. If you are interested in getting those dumped vehicles out, collaborate with police they have all those chassis numbers, even if the vehicles don't have the number plate, they have chassis numbers, and you have to approach the insurance agencies, and it's a very tough job. So collaborating with local police is the only way out. As citizens, we just don't want to engage a crane and get that vehicle out and put it in a dump yard.
Okay. Then Ravi Bala says that she is an NLP trainer. I'm not sure what NLP stands for. And she would love to train women or men for various self-help topics. Can you please let her know whom she can contact?
I think she is from Pune only, Ravi Bala.
Yeah,
Yeah, so she knows many police officers. In fact, she knows even commissioners of police. I think she's just pulling my leg by asking this question.
No. No, honestly speaking, no, ever since you have gone, I have not been able to contact anybody because you really wanted that police officers be trained and you gave so many opportunities, but now after that I have not been able to contact anybody, so I'll be really thankful. I just heard some time back to contact the CID department.
Mr. Kulkarni, he's organizing act. In fact, that's what I was sharing with you, that Mr. Kulkarni heads the CID branch of Maharashtra. He can give you access to the whole state, police officers of the whole state. Recently, he had asked me to talk. So we had more than 1,000 officers from the whole state. So please contact him. So all ladies who are interested in training in women, either local police station, your local commissioner of police, or CID, boss of chief of state CID.
Okay, I'll be thankful if you can kindly give me the phone number. That will be really great.
I'm sharing my email, so you can write to me individually.
Sure.
Yes, I'll share the email with everybody.
Sure, thanks. And nice to see you, Mira. It was really nice session. Thank you so much.
Okay, then there's
Vinita,
one question on
take a last question.
Women police station.
Take a last question.
This is the last question. Can you tell us how establishment of all women police station has improved reporting of crimes against women? Should I repeat it?
Can I reply?
Yeah, just wants to know.
So, no, in fact, I'm very happy. I forgot to mention this topic. We, women police officers, women in IPS are against this concept of women police stations. They were started initially in Tamil Nadu, and then many states thought it's a good publicity for them. But basically, it does injustice to women. Now, imagine I stay at X and my local police station is 3 kilometers from the place where I stay. If you have women police station, I will be asked to go to that police station, which may be 20 kilometers away. So in Maharashtra, we decided we will not have all women police station. In Delhi, they have some specialized cell, women cell. So you can have a cell which will have an expertise in investigation of crime against women. But women should not be asked to travel to a distance and approach all women police station for crime against them. Every police station and the nearest police station should address to their issues. Men should not be allowed to wash their hands of the crime against women. By establishing these all women police stations, we are encouraging men to say, this is not our problem. Go to that particular police station. In a town, you will have 1 or 2 police stations. You are increasing the travel time and the adversity of a woman complainant by asking them to approach only all women police station. Special cells as an expertise, yes, but all police stations should be open and available to victims of crime.
Okay, now all the questions we are done with. And I'd like to personally thank you for your talk. It was very enlightening.
Thank you.
And now I would like to invite Dr. Gomati. Vote of thanks.
Thank you. Let me first say I don't have a doctorate degree in front of my name. I am Mrs. Gomati Venkateshwar, and I think I'm very privileged to give the vote of thanks. And I'm saying good evening to all of you who are present here this evening on a virtual platform. Even though it's a Zoom platform, I think we have come so close to Dr. Borwankar that we feel she's in the room talking to us. And I thank first and foremost Dr. Ranjana Banerjee, who worked meticulously over the past few months. In spite of the difficult times we are all having, this second wave of COVID that has hit all cities, to bring this event together. And it has been a wonderful event and a wonderful evening. Having a person like you, Madam, amidst us gives credibility to our own kind of work that our organization does, as you represent the power and influence of your position in society and in the force in which you work. That is so essentially male dominated, with patriarchal notions and codes ingrained in the men. And to have a police officer, woman police officer as at its head, as police commissioner, heading the CID branch, is indeed difficult for both the incumbent, that is you, and those working under you or alongside with you. And the fact that you put your position acceptable to men, this is something probably what we need to learn also, that if we do get a position in a organization which is headed for a number of years by men, how do we as a leader work to get no sort of stones thrown at us? Today, I, on behalf of all of us gathered here to celebrate this event, thank you, Madam Borwankar, Dr. Borwankar, for gracing the occasion and talking about the work that you have done over these years and worked for the safety and security of women and girls in our country, which is of the utmost importance, not only for our organization, but for the international body of our organization, which is based in Geneva, whose work is empowerment of women, enhancing the skills of women, and making our presence felt. As you said, we are 50% of the world's population, and yet we don't have enough representation, say in our own country, in our parliament, how few we are to put our cases before the Prime Minister or the opposition party or the party in power. We don't have any power or force to put our cases strongly forward. I end my vote of thanks to you all for the team that worked this evening to make this event come through. And good night, stay safe and stay well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Borwankar, to end the program to go to this
वो लोग आ गए उठ के उनको चाय दे दिया पी लिया मेरे को एक कप और चाहिए ये वाला नहीं अच्छा इसमें आगे से दूध मत डालना अभी है ना एक थोड़े से
I would just say thank you for giving us a wonderful evening and enlightening us in an area which we really need to think about. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjana. That was really interesting.
She's still there? Ranjana Ji? I think she's got disconnected.
Nice to see all of you. Bye.
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 Organizer, they did a good work.
I can't find Dr. Banerjee. Madam, Mrs. Bodwarkar, I can't find my president. I don't know whether she's got disconnected from the net. So should I close the session? Do I close the session?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Madam Bodwarkar, can you hear me? Have you gone out? Because should I close it? Mrs. Bodwarkar is still there. I don't know, but she's there. I didn't hear also. I didn't even hear that. অনেক লোক বসে আছে, তুমি একবার ঢুকে ওনাকে বলো। না না আমার না, her bandwidth was constantly saying that it is weak.
Everyone has left.
Yeah, she's coming. She's coming. Dr. Banerjee is coming in. Mrs. Bodwarkar has left, I think. Ranjana, should I close the session? Should I close the session because I didn't hear you?
Yes, Purabhi, we can close the session now.
Okay.
And we can say good night to all of us and happy, stay well.
Good night, friends. Good night. Thank you. Thank you.
Good night. Good night.